Can you hear me? I'm trying to figure out this the new. Is that how you? Oh, I turned it on. Oh, oh, okay. This how you turn. Damn. All right, I got it all the way up now. Okay. Figured out. Hey, Money Loke, what's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing? So when I found this man, because this is the second video, I'm tired. Shit, I'm tired. But I had to come on here. This part two of Dr. George Fraser. When I found him, he is awesome. He like another Dr. Claude Anderson. But he awesome for our community. Let me see if I can find his hold on. That's what okay, here we go. No, that ain't him. Hold on, that ain't him. Mm-mm. I done messed up. I should stay where I was. Okay. All right, here we go. Dr. George Fraser is an African American, a prominent voice for Black economic empowerment, networking, and leadership, known for his books like Success Runs in Our Race and his networking movement through Fraser Net. And you can go online and you can Google Fraser Net. And he was born in Brooklyn, New York. He's an entrepreneur and a speaker who promotes self reliance and wealth building within the Black community, having overcome a challenging childhood as an orphan and foster child. And his mission is to lead a global movement for economic development and increased opportunities for people of African descent, focusing on networking and self sufficiency. He's the author of best selling books Success Runs in Our Race, Race for Success, The 10 Best Business Opportunity for Blacks in America. He just won an XXL award this year. I got my new computer today. This is my new computer. XXL last year in August. Let me see. He's named a top 50 power broker in Black America by Upscale Magazine and called Black America's number one networker by Black Enterprise Magazine. He received a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award by Barack Obama in 2016. I guess Barack did do something for us, huh? But I wanted to get back on him because I love this man. Now let me find the video because we're gonna go to the videos now. And then I'm going to bed. Where are you at? Damn. Okay, here we go. Oh, I ain't got but a couple of videos.
Hey, welcome to the Chronicle YouTube channel. I am Buster Brown, your host, and I am here with very, brilliant Dr. Fraser. Thank you. Man, you're brilliant. Thank you. Good to meet you, and it's an honor. I sat there and listened to you talk, and I was blown away by everything you said. And let's jump into something real quick, because I know we don't have much time, about 2053. That there's a study that showed that these Black folk will be and slavery by 2050.
No, there's a study by the Institute of Policy Studies published in a major article in Fortune magazine last year that said that in 2053, if nothing changes, black median wealth will be zero.
Wow.
Hispanics will follow 3 years later, and white median wealth will be $257,400.
Right.
So, in other words, we will have no money by 2053 if nothing changes. Our behavior doesn't change if how we manage our money, what we know about money, our literacy about money. If we're not doing things to close the income and wealth gap, then we essentially will be out of money, black people in America, by 2053. That means that we will work our way into a second slavery because you are enslaved in this country. This is a market-based economy, democratic capitalist society. If you have no money in a market-based economy, democratic capitalist society, you are basically enslaved. So we now have a choice. Now, when Kanye said that slavery was a choice of action, Kanye was severely criticized. By 2053, if nothing changes, our children will be asking, our children's children will be asking the question of our generation, did we choose this? Because we now have a choice. Either we do something about the state of our financial literacy and economic development, wealth creation, or we don't do something. We just keep doing the same old crap that we've been doing, right? And then we will money. So that's a choice. Well, we have chosen this.
Because right now, like you said, we have that.
We have a choice. We have time.
And we're just sitting there. I like your frog analogy.
Yeah.
You put a frog in hot water, if it's boiling, he jumps out immediately. Cold water, he chills. But if you just keep it warm, and he gets comfortable where he is.
That's right. And then you
where we are.
Right. Increase it incrementally. Right. He will sit there and
Let me mention this real quick and see your thoughts on this. It's kind of like that frog thing. Charles Manson said that the reason he started that race war because he knew that black folk would win this race war. He said that he and his people would lay low and wait on us to take over. And he said that because we're not used to being organized, they would rise and scratch our itch. What do you think he meant? And scratch.
I think he meant what he said. I think he really believed.
He did.
He was sort of wacky.
Right. But that was very profound.
I think he believed that. And I think there's some element of that is true. Right? So unless we fix that, I mean, it's being said to us many different ways. It's said to us in the 1965, right? So we have to listen, and then we make the choice.
What's going to make us listen, Dr. Fraser? I mean, because we have money, not power. We don't seem to have any power. We have lots of money.
Like the man said, if nothing changes in our race by 2053, we'll be going into a new slavery because we will not have any money if we don't change. 2053 is right around the corner. That's like 20 years. That ain't a lot of time. Yeah, that's like 20 years. And like he said, if we don't change in the black community by 2053, we're going into a new slavery because we will be broke. We will have no money. I'm about to give me something to eat.
You will never change that which you tolerate. You will never change. People will not change when they see the light. People will change when they feel the heat. So the more heat that we feel, right? So you change your shoes when your feet hurt, right? So until we have to scare our people. We have to frighten them, right? Into action. We have to make them angry. I mean, what you saw in this presentation this afternoon was one of anger. I was really purposely trying to make black people angry.
They're frustrated.
Right. Frustrated and angry.
I mean, 10 hours of TV a day. You sleep 8 hours.
Right.
Now, 10 hours, that's 18 hours out of the 24.
Right.
And you saying that black people watch 10 hours of TV and we're learning nothing. Right. What's going to change? I mean, this has got to change. You were a kid. We're in a very tough situation. Yeah. Your mom fell mentally ill.
Right.
Dad, taxi driver. Couldn't raise 11 kids in a taxi driver salary. Your guidance counselor, this is not funny, told you to just drop out of school. And nobody believed that you were college ready.
Right.
We were where you were.
A lot of us are there today.
what helped Dr. Fraser come out of that? You had 3 doctorates.
Yeah.
And just a high school diploma is all you had. And you had 3 doctorates.
Well,
share it with us.
Yeah,
Dang,
it's
he
very-
had
it's
3
simple.
doctorates.
I was hungry,
Right.
right? I was hungry. I had some help, the right help, I had the right circle, small number of people, the right circle of people around me. So I was hungry, I was angry, and I was determined to prove naysayers in my life as others. Right? And if I said that to them, I said that to me. Oh, you don't think I can do this? Watch this. Right? Now I knew that there would be a number of steps that I would have to take to do that. I would have to chart a course, I would have to stay that course, and then I understood very early in life that all that is due would come to me. Right? You can't have what I have. I can't have what you have. What is for you is for you. This is biblical. So that is what helped me.
Right. And do you believe that if, because everybody say,
I'm cold. I got to get
everything
me
you
some.
go through is working in your favor.
Yeah.
Right. You know that you've been through a lot as a young age. You think if you had not gone through that, you would not be the Dr. Fraser today?
That's right.
Or that was destined to become.
No, Marcus Aurelius said it best. He said, what stands in the way becomes the way. The impediment to action advances the action. Said another way, the obstacle is the way. Where there is an obstacle, there is a way. And God gives you a sign for the next thing you have. You get an animal, then you get a assignment, and then this was the next thing you know. If it's an obstacle, well, the obstacle is the way. Everything you have to do. So I've done this in my life, and obstacles in my dad. Obstacles are something that I have to learn. Right? That's what it is. That's all it is.
And I did come up in a rough neighborhood. But I did pretty good for myself. I became
Now you've done
a legendary radio DJ.
Oh, the heat is coming up.
TV, did pretty good for myself. And I credit that to not wanting to be where I was as a kid. With roaches, rats, all that stuff. Drugs and all that.
I've got to get your point.
But, yes, let me just say this as I wrap up. Last question. If God gave you the choice to have the ideal family that I'm sure every kid wants, and you can go back and God said, your mom, your dad would be able to provide for you, but you wouldn't have those riches for what you are today. Would you trade what you are today for a healthy family life?
No, I would not change anything. If I change just one thing, everything happens for a reason.
So you feel that that was destined?
That was my path. I had to go down that path to be who I am. I would not change one thing.
How do we get your book? Who would have thought? Because who would have thought you'd be
Go on Amazon. All my books are on Amazon.
that's
Successions in Our Race. Come to the Power Networking Conference in June 26th through 29th in Houston, Texas. Want to know more?
This is an awesome man.
This is Judge Joe Brown.
The show is sponsored by myoliveleaf.biz, myoliveleaf.biz.
Ginger Surprise. Please contact Hoshea or visit gingersurprise.com for details.
And the Hurricane Report, merchandise, and more.
Judge Joe Brown got mad at him, but I'm not going to get into that.
World. In other words, brothers and sisters, there is no one to save us but us.
Right.
In case no one told you this, I'm telling you this. They told me. They thought I was lying. So you know Dr. Fraser? I was in an all-white event. I'm sort of, maybe God put me here as a spy, a double agent. We will not be saving black people. No. In fact, white folks are not even thinking about black people. Do you know who white folks are thinking about? They're thinking about white folks. They're thinking about their children, their wives, their husbands, their communities, their businesses, their educational system. They're not thinking about you.
That's right.
I had a good white friend who said to me not long ago, he said, George, I know the problem with black people. I said, oh, really? Really, Paul? What might that be? He said, you spend all your time thinking about us, and we don't spend any of our time thinking about you. Therefore, if you're not thinking about you, and we damn sure ain't thinking about you, who's thinking about you?
Damn.
Well, I had to do a Holy Ghost dance. Sometimes I feel that we are searching for a key to an unlocked door. Dr. George Fraser, a visionary, a connector, and a leader. For decades, he has been a beacon of inspiration, championing the power of networking, education, and economic empowerment within the black community. But who is this incredible man, and why is his message so vital today? Watch and pay attention, and I will share my thought later. I have two definitions for leadership. To be a leader is to be awake and alert and to be dissatisfied at all times.
Damn.
Oh, yes, we have come a long way, but we have much further to go. Therefore, brothers and sisters, I am not happy. But I am motivated by a positive anger directed towards positive change. What do we know about change? We know that you will never change that which you tolerate, and you will only change when you get angry.
Yep.
Obviously, black people are not quite angry enough.
Yep.
So we will continue to experience pain, death, and social injustice until we stop it, until we act, until we get angry. My second definition is that a leader defines reality and provides hope.
Fact.
A leader defines reality and provides hope. So I'm going to define reality
I gotta like my
as
cigarette.
I see it. As a race man, as a black man that has served our community for 40 years, and it's crisscrossed the world, has been every place that black people have been dispersed. South Africa, Central Africa, East Africa, West Africa, all over North Africa, all over South America, and all over the Caribbean. I'm going to define that reality for you. I believe that African Americans are at a pivotal point in history. The world is not waiting for us to wake up to our power. It is time for African Americans to take a seat at the table, not only in America, but also in the global economy. Unfortunately, we continue to place our power in the hands of those who have
Facts.
historically oppressed us, and even worse, we continue to oppress each other.
Fact.
This is the meaning of internalized oppression. To continue to fall into the cultural hypnosis of thinking that white America controls our lives is a true application of our personal power, and the reality is that each and every day is an opportunity for us to create a new and powerful story in our culture. And unless we find a way to write this new story and to claim our power, there will be devastating implications for our community and for the world. In other words, brothers and sisters, there is no one to save us but us.
Fact. Fact.
In case no one told you this, I'm telling you this. They told me. They thought I was white. So, Dr. Fraser, I was in an all-white event. Sort of, maybe God put me here as a spy, a double agent. We will not be saving black people. No. In fact, white folks are not even thinking about black people. Do you know who white folks are thinking about? They're thinking about white folks. They're thinking about their children, their wives, their husbands, their communities, their businesses, their educational system. They're not thinking about you. I had a good white friend who said to me not long ago, he said, George, I know the problem with black people. I said, oh, really? Really, Paul? What might that be? He said, you spend all your time thinking about us, and we don't spend any of our time thinking about you. Therefore, if you're not thinking about you, and we damn sure ain't thinking about you, who's thinking about you? Well, I had to do a Holy Ghost dance. Sometimes I feel that we are searching for a key to an unlocked door. That the door to opportunity in this great country, this great racist white supremacist country, and it's racist and white supremacy. There's no question about that. It's in the DNA. You will not live to see that change. You will not fix that. There will have to be generations of white people that will simply have to die.
Right. Right. That's fact. That's fact.
Not train that out of white people. They will have to die. So we have our work to do. Because there is more opportunity than we have the capacity to take advantage of. We just have to, as Dr. Watkins says, we just have to begin to think that way. The great Dr. Frances Cress Welsing
I love
left
her.
us with this,
I love her.
and I quote, we wonder why we cannot, and we wonder why we're not making progress. We wonder why we're not making progress. This is Dr. Frances Cress Welsing.
I love her.
And then she went on to say, I can't call myself a bitch, a hoe, a nigger, a gangster, and a thug every day and then get up and do something constructive. That's impossible.
Damn. That's good.
The great rapper Kendrick Lamar said it a little bit differently. And I quote, how can you fight for love on behalf of your people when you can barely find a reason to love yourself?
Damn.
Kendrick Lamar. Drake said it a little bit differently. I happen to like Drake. I like the way he put this. I like the way he spit this out. And he said, started from the bottom, now I'm here. Started from the bottom, now I'm here. Absolutely, I can relate to that. Born in Brooklyn, New York, in Bed-Stuy. We have lost our consciousness. We must get our consciousness back. The fight for social justice is never ending. We will not achieve it in our lifetime. And as I said earlier, many more will die before this occurs. But that's how it's always been. In studying our people, I noticed that it takes us about 100 years to achieve the things that we want to achieve. Our fight for freedom. Isn't it interesting that we achieved our freedom without guns or money? And it took us 250 years, but we achieved our freedom. That's how awesome black people are. We freed ourselves without guns or money.
That's deep.
Why do you think we were able to do that? We were right, and we were wrong. And when you are operating on goodness and righteousness, you will always win. Achieve voting rights, public access, 1864 to 1964 for 100 years, but we did it without guns.
Okay, here we go.
Right. How do I know that we will achieve social justice? How do I know that we will close the income and wealth gap over time? I know because we are right and they are We must chart a good and righteous course, and we must stay that course. And we must now understand that we must focus on wealth. We must focus on economic development and wealth creation. There are many ways to get there. We must answer the question that so many of us ask each and every day, but we don't have an answer. Why is wealth important? Not so that we buy more stuff.
Right.
We don't need any more stuff.
Right.
That's our problem.
Right.
We have too much stuff. We are a consumption class of people.
Fact.
Jews are a merchant class. So we must shift our thinking from consumption class, because that's all we do,
Right.
to a merchant class. We'll put a pin in that. I'll pick up on that in a moment. Why is wealth important? We are the only culture in the history of humankind that put political empowerment before economic empowerment. Last year, we elected over 9,000 black public officials, and we're still at the bottom of the educational and economic heap. What does that mean? You cannot do it by politics alone.
Come on.
How dare you put that kind of pressure on our political leadership? But again, we're no fools. We were born at night, but not last night. We didn't come down here with the last drop of rain. We know that we're all impacted by public policy, and yes, we're all impacted by the politics of inclusion. And yes, we must continue to use the power of our vote to empower those who empower us. If they're not empowering us, if we are not a plank in on their platform as it relates to economics and
Fact.
the upliftment of our people and communities, then don't vote for them.
Fact.
That's on you. Why is wealth important? Your wealth will determine where you live. Where you live will determine where your children go to school.
Yep.
Where your children go to school will determine the quality of your children's higher education, and the quality of your children's higher education will determine their lifelong earnings. And your children's lifelong earnings will determine where your children live.
Yep.
And where your children live will determine where your grandchildren go to school. And where your grandchildren go to school will determine the quality of your grandchildren's higher education, and that will determine their life. Do you see the cycle of poverty again? Why is wealth important? Dr. Boyce spoke so eloquently, so fabulously, so granularly of this. That in a market-based economy, in a democratic capitalistic society, in case no one has told you, the only color that really matters is green.
Come on. Come on.
So until our pile of grain is as big and as high and as deep and as wide and as leveraged as any other cultural group's pile of grain, we will never be considered an equal at the table of democratic capitalism.
Fact.
Why is wealth important? Because when we finish pontificating ad nauseum about our issues, somebody's got to write a check.
Right.
Our Jewish brothers and sisters can write a check. Our Asian brothers and sisters can write a check. Our Arab brothers and sisters can write a check. I've been to Dubai lately, and they can write some serious checks. Stupid money. They got stupid money. We can't write a check.
Come on.
Let me say that differently.
Come on.
We cannot even convene our people unless somebody else writes the check. Ask the NAACP.
Right.
Ask the Congressional Black Caucus, which I've spoken at for 41 years straight. Ask the Urban League. If somebody else wasn't writing the check, we couldn't even meet. We must fix this in the 21st century. So I'm going to tell you a secret that no CPA will tell you. The tax system was set up for the landowner and the business owner.
Yep. That's a fact.
The landowner and the business owner. So if we don't own land, And we own the fewest number of homes per capita of any cultural group in this country, and we came over here on the Mayflower. And we don't own businesses, and we own the fewest number of businesses per capita of any cultural group in this country. And again, we came over here on the Mayflower. You cannot fully exploit the American tax system. The American tax system will exploit you. It's one of the reasons Mitt Romney, back in the day, when he was running against Obama, did not want you to see his tax returns. Why? Not because he did anything illegal. It's because he's a big-time landowner, big-time business owner, and he used the benefits of that land ownership and business owner to pay a micro percentage of tax, far less tax on a percentage basis than you and I will ever pay.
Same with Trump.
America is about equity and ownership, and the idea that the Black community can exercise effective power, and I think you said this, boys, political or otherwise, without simultaneously exercising economic power is a fantasy that capitalism just isn't. So the question becomes for us, or the statement, there can be no collective will and vision without a strong sense of identity. And there can be no strong sense of identity without a unifying purpose. So the question then is, what are we unified around? What is the next big thing? What is the third and final moral imperative and moral assignment? The first two, freedom. The second was civil rights, voting rights, and public access. The third, as far as I'm concerned, is economic development, wealth creation, closing of the income and wealth gap. So, because when we look at the world today, we will see that powerful nations and powerful people are producing people and not just consuming people. And as I've often said in my many speeches around the country, you cannot consume yourself into equality, and you cannot consume yourself into power. And those people who depend upon consumption will see as they consume the products of others and do not produce for themselves will ultimately be consumed. In the 21st century, the goal—
Damn, that was good. Damn, that was good. Damn, that was good. And he also said by 2053, if we do not change as Black folk, we will earn zero. Going back into slavery. God, man.
As a community must be to become a community of owners and savers instead of a community of consumers and renters. Entrepreneur, author, and motivational speaker.
Wow.
Fraser. World. In other words, brothers and sisters, there is no one to save us but us. In case no one told you this, I'm telling you.
Message for the Black community.
Experience. The world is not waiting for us to wake up to our power. It is time for African Americans to take a seat at the table, not only in America, but also in the global economy. Unfortunately, we continue to place our power in the hands of those who have historically oppressed us, and even worse, we continue to oppress each other.
Facts.
This is the meaning of internalized oppression. To continue to fall into the cultural hypnosis of thinking that white America controls our lives is a true abdication of our personal power. And the reality is that each and every day is an opportunity for us to create a new and powerful story in our culture. And unless we find a way to write this new story and to claim our power, there will be devastating implications for our community and for the world. In other words, brothers and sisters, there is no one to save us but us. Country, this great racist white supremacist country, and it's racist and white supremacy. There's no question about that. It's in the DNA. You will not live to see that change. You will not fix that. There will have to be generations of white people that will simply have to die.
Facts.
Really?
They got to die.
We were able to do that. We were right. and they were wrong. Why is wealth important? Your wealth will determine where you live.
Okay, we saw that.
Those will ultimately be consumed by others.
I don't know. This last one, Judge Joe Brown mad at him, so we're gonna listen to him.
This show is sponsored by myoliveleaf.biz, myoliveleaf.biz.
Ginger Surprise. Please contact Hoshea or visit Ginger Surprise.
6. I hope that's you. 216-496. Please press the number 1 over into perfect. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you clearly. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, if you could just just for our listening audience, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're gonna I'd love to hear what you texted me. You said there were a few things that you learned regarding Corona. So if you could just just give us a nice little intro before we get started.
Okay, well, you're asking me to do something that I feel very, very uncomfortable with, which is talking about myself. Hopefully, my work over the last 40 years has speaks for me. I'm just modest. I really do not. If you do not know me, and just Google me or go on YouTube and put my name, George C. Fraser, on YouTube, and everything you want to know. Go on my LinkedIn page. But I am fundamentally, in its essence, a race man, R-A-C-E. And the race man or race woman that has committed their time, talent, and treasure into the investment and upliftment of his own people first. And that's what I have committed my life to, everything that I have done, all things Fraser Net Incorporated, to include WINS Wealth Building Centers and Curriculum, the Power Networking Conference, now in its 19th year, one of the top 5 conferences in America not to be missed according to Forbes magazine, and not one of the top 5 Black conferences, but one of the top 5 of all conferences, and to Fraser Nation Citizens of Generational Wealth, where our citizens are committed to demonstrated excellence, equity, and investment, and entrepreneurial thinking. I've written 6 best-selling books over the last 25 years, to include Success Runs in Our Race, a complete guide to effective networking in the African American community, Click, Ventures for Building Extraordinary Relationships, and Race for Success, the 10 Best Business Opportunities for Blacks in America. I have given over 2,500 speeches crisscrossing the Pan-African diaspora, and I have 9.5 million frequent flyer miles. So I am deeply committed to all things Pan-African. And I have some profound disappointments that if you'd like for me to talk about that, I'll do that at some point in time in this conversation, and some profound celebrated and wonderful experiences historically that we have all witnessed but do not know or understand about people of African descent. We are not what Europeans think we are. They did not pull us from trees eating bananas and civilized us. That is completely wrong. We, in fact, civilized the world. We were building pyramids and solving complex engineering problems when other cultures were living in caves, eating each other. So no, they did not civilize us. Africans civilized the world. Africans built. Go to Egypt. Egypt is in Africa. It is not in the Middle East.
Come on.
If you go to the Valley of the Kings and the pyramids of Giza, you will see painted on those walls Black people of every shade that there are at this moment in time. So that's a nutshell of who I am and what I am about. And I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm sure that I didn't. We have a very, very sophisticated listening audience, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. Every place that I have traveled in the Pan-African
or Miami, whether it is San Diego or Maine, whether it is Cape Town in South Africa, or Lagos in Nigeria, or whether it is in the Bahamas, or whether it is in Rio, or in Bahia, the Black people are. Every place that we are 500 years into this 400 years as enslaved Africans in America. Another 100 years as colonized Africa on the continent. The bottom line, after 500 years, when we have given this world everything that we have, and including the riches of the richest continent in the world, at the end of the day, we still have nothing. At the end of the day, we are at the bottom of every single economic statistic that certainly matters in America. The wealth gap between blacks and whites in America is gross and unfair, but accurate. Of the $120 trillion of wealth in this country, white people control about $110 trillion of that wealth, and black people control about $2 trillion of wealth. So the gap is 10 times, and the numbers are disturbing. We are at the bottom of every single economic statistic in this country, and there's very little difference in any place that I go. Why are African people God's first people, the second largest race on the planet at 1.6 billion? The first is Asians, 4.4 billion, and the third are Europeans at about 1 billion. Nonetheless, why? 500 years later, are we at the bottom of every single economic statistic, no matter where you travel in the Pan-African world? Yes, there are pockets of those of us who have succeeded and have accumulated some wealth, but it pales in comparison to what Europeans have. For example, there are 35,000 black millionaires. Don't get excited. There are 1.5 million white millionaires. So that disturbs me. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. I don't believe that African people were here to entertain white people and to just excel at singing, dancing, playing football, baseball, or basketball. God bless those that do. I'm not besmirching that. We are better than that. We can do more than that. We have been here the longest. And as I repeat, we are God's first people. Why are we still at the bottom of everything in this world? That disturbs me deeply. And there needs to be deep understanding, study, and an articulation for the reasons, the profound reasons that we are there. Now, we can, of course, attribute much of that to 250 years of enslavement, the most egregious form of slavery invented in the history of humankind, and another 100 years access in this country, so 350 plus years of oppression of the African people, and another 60 years of colonization and the raping of the continent of its resources. Yes, that's part of the reason, no question about that. We cannot ignore that. But there has to be other reasons. And this is what I plan. I'm 75. I am planning on spending the rest of my life looking at the deep consciousness of the reasons behind that and mitigating that with solutions.
Yeah, I'm about to end it.
Okay.
Dr. Fraser joined us for about 2 hours, and during that time, I played an audio clip of several of our leaders, aka Black Excellence, address the Black wealth gap, reparations, and certain other things. Here's what Judge Brown had to say about that.
Judge, welcome. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much. Hey.
I'm in.
Yeah, I found you. There's a
I had to tune out on that play. I almost puked. There wasn't anybody that called on that knows much of a damn thing about the problem. Nobody on that knows anything about organization. And it's just another one of these things of the ignorant leading the ignorant. Last night I was on radio, and this thing was recorded. It went on for 5 hours. And every now and then, I like to listen to these things instead of being much of a participant, just to see what we're up against. There was a long soliloquy by some, I don't want to use the term that comes to mind, but anyway, this person said the answer to the problem could be acquired if somebody was of enough faith and diligence to go through the Bible and count all of the ands, meaning the word A-N-D, add them up and do the numerology, and that would be the solution to the problem. Somebody else chimed in and said, numerology is the key, it's the number 4. And then we listened to a number of conspiracy theories about boogeymen trying to do all of this, set this up for fun and profit. And it went downhill from there. I have not heard as much ignorance, stupidity, rank superstition, lack of analytical, rational, reasonable, critical, and concerted thought in a long time. And it brought something else to mind. We have a little thing we do these days where we like to call everybody kings and queens, but we forget that where there are places with kings and queens, there's only one of each, and everybody else is a subject and abjectly follows. And I'm thinking maybe black folk don't need democracy. They need a monarchy or a tyranny where somebody tells them what to do. Because the lack of critical thinking that I encounter so often now and in the past is indicative of the fact that we don't work on critical thinking often enough to have developed it as a habit amongst the people. It is astonishing. So what the hell is Al Sharpton going to do? What the hell is Kamasutra Harris going to do? She's not even black. She's a Hindu Brahmin. Nothing wrong with them, but she's fronting off trying to be one of us for immediate political advantage. What are they going to do about this problem? Now, that black folk have been reduced to the apathetic and pathetic position where their leadership becomes people who are into fantasy, distraction, and corrupting influence. Become their spokesmen and leaders is a disgrace. White folk even went there when they had that charlatan St. Ron the Raygun, who was nothing but a Hollywood fake, queer, and everything else, get itself involved in the whole process, so they got somebody that gave them make-believe. And see, for 50 years, this country has been propagandized with the glorification of make-believe, not as a distraction and an entertainment, but as a reality. And that is our problem. We do not need a P. Diddy to be the damn leadership. We haven't had a black leader killed off in 50 years. Because we haven't had him. He's been involved his whole adult life in make-believe and play acting. He has not been out there. He has not been in a situation where he's had to put his ass on the line to try and get something for his people. He has not put himself in a situation where his life's in danger, not because he's being a damn fool,
doing some street cred bullshit, but because he is out there trying to go do something to make fundamental change. He's not been on the line when he's been out trying to do the grunt or
come on, Judge.
When he stands up in front of some agency or whatever and harangues them trying to get them to do right. He's not put himself out there when it comes down to dealing with those things where you can get shot out in the street. Not because you at a damn nightclub when nobody but you and a few select folk can afford to get in the damn thing. But when you're doing the real deal being a soldier.
Come on.
That's what you need to do to be a leader, where you come up with conceptualizations because you have studied, because you are a very intelligent person who also has got cojones and balls and gets out there and starts trying to lead. That's what you put up for leadership. And that little what Al Sharpton, James Brown's old tenderoni boyfriend. No, that is nothing. He wants to be relevant.
Come on, Judge Joe Brown. Come on.
And that's
Judge,
a shame
I am not
that our
in defense
leadership
of
comes from that
P.
corner.
Diddy, neither am I disputing anything that you're saying. I'm saying his only point was that he was giving his platform so that Black people have a place to speak because other platforms didn't necessarily highlight our issues. So I think that's why, but Judge, but
you're doing it right now. Are you all over the media? No, because they'd rather have something like that that's a distraction.
But Judge, I think that's what he called Reverend Sharpton, because he thought that Reverend Sharpton had the experience and the knowledge, and that's why he had Van Jones moderate.
Sharpton is a fake, an ass, and a distraction. He's a pimp.
What about Van Jones and Angela Rye?
Van Jones, Black Boule too. Right.
Angela Rye, give me a break. They couldn't even walk down in the goddamn hood without a bodyguard.
All right, Dr.
How you gonna lead your people when you can't even walk out in front of them?
Yes, sir.
No, I mean, I get impassioned about this. I've been around too damn long, done too much, seen too much, undergone too damn much to see all of these charlatans run around trying to create a mantle of leadership for themselves.
Facts, Judge, facts.
I agree with what you're saying.
It's been suppressed. Now, anyway, I just ramped up the level, that's all. Now, let's get back to being calm, cool, and objective about this whole thing now,
Thank you. I'd like to this time Dr. Fraser, George C. Fraser, I'd like to hear your thoughts. You heard what Judge Brown had to say. You did hear the audio. And at this time, I'm just going to fade to black, no pun intended. Address this or whatever it is. Again, I have no intention to construct the conversation. So, all right. That is it for the YouTube.
So like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Dr. George Fraser is the real deal for Black empowerment.